Dashless gameplay in Celeste has been a very prevalent style throughout the top modded maps, and on the surface this makes a lot of sense. Dashless gameplay is one of the easiest gameplay types to make difficult. After all, much of its difficulty relies on precise timings and narrow gaps, which offer an insanely high skill ceiling. Now, as of the current moment, the hardest Celeste map in general is Reach for the Stars, being 9 stars on the Celeste hard list. However, when we're talking about exclusively Dashless maps, there are 3 which score as top difficulty maps, those being the 8-star Chrome Hearts, along with the 7-star Adajio Sosenudo and Yes Sir Whatever. And so in this video we're going to look at these 3 maps, what sort of gameplay they feature, and what makes them so difficult. One disclaimer here though, I'm going to assume that you're already familiar with a variety of Celeste tech beforehand. Some of the more obscure tech will be explained in detail, however you will need to know about basic Dashless tech, along with game mechanics such as input buffering and coyote frames. Oh yeah, and one final disclaimer, none of the gameplay here was played by me, it was all done by a TAS. I really don't think I could bring myself to beat any of these 3 maps. This is our first map of the 3, and if you haven't already seen Chrome Hearts, then prepare yourself, I don't know what else to say. This was the first of the 3 Dashless maps to release, and was actually the first ever 7-star map to ever come out, alongside Reckoning by NCG. While I mostly want to report on the gameplay here, Chrome Hearts does have kind of a cool aura to it. Pretty much every hitbox in this map is completely invisible, which makes this map look deceivingly easy until you actually try to play it. Also, this map's music choice is Ken Carson, very common songs everyone uses in their Celeste maps, right? Except the final room, which uses a Ken Carson type beat. Out of the 5 rooms in this map, the hardest ones are often considered to be rooms 2, 3, and 5. We'll first start by analyzing room 2, and oh boy, this one is fun. The start of this room might look strangely easy. It's a couple of simple wall jumps and corner boosts to get onto the left side of this cross. Once you make your way into the cross through these silly invisible tiles, you'll reach the first significantly hard input. Your goal is to grab onto this tile here, however a wall of hitboxes blocks you from simply jumping to that point, requiring you to go underneath them to avoid getting killed. And no, you can't just walk to the right, there are invisible hitboxes preventing you from doing that. What you want to do is grab onto the bottom of this tile here, and then drop down to this tile to jump underneath the hitboxes. The only problem is that if you jump directly off the top of this tile, you'll be too high up and hit your head on the hitboxes, so you first have to grab onto the tile for a split second. That way, Madeline will slide down the wall by a couple of pixels, which puts you in the right position to jump without going too high up. This is a frame perfect timing. However, after doing this and grabbing onto the tile, you'll be teleported down to this section, which is by far the hardest part. To progress further in the room, you'll have to make it through this invisible 1-tile gap, something which can only be done if you are crouching. In order to do this, you'll need to climb through these spikes while retaining a crouch state, which can only be done if you continuously climb jump up the wall without ever going down or losing upwards momentum, a tech known as a crouch climb. You also make use of a tech called the wall boost, where you do a climb jump up the wall without holding any direction, and then turning away from the wall to get a horizontal boost in that direction, along with the game kindly refunding your stamina. To make it up to the top, you need to do 5 extremely tight wall boosts in a row in the span of a little over half a second. And remember, if you stop moving upwards at any point, you'll lose your crouch and won't be able to continue. This part is ridiculous, and I've heard horror stories of people struggling on these 5 wall boosts. After this part, you do the invisible hitbox jump from earlier again to grab the key, before getting teleported down to do the crouch climb again. This map hates you, remember? After that though, you're pretty much done. Room 3 can't be any harder, can it? Now moving on to room 3, this room uses everybody's favorite gameplay mechanic, the Crystal Heart collectible. To get through the first part of this room, you need to do a really precise tech involving this heart here. You first need to do a small jump off this tile so that you land onto the Crystal Heart, while also simultaneously being on the ground. That way when the heart boosts you slightly upwards, you use the coyote frames given from touching the ground to jump up and then double corner boost off this tile here. How does a double corner boost work exactly? Well, the idea here is that a regular corner boost is done by climb jumping off a corner while having some speed moving into it. If you climb jump within the 3 pixels of wall leniency this game gives you, you'll get a slight boost to your speed, which lets you cross larger distances. You can gain even more speed if you follow this corner boost with a second one right after, hence giving it the name double corner boost. Normally you'd want to use 2 different jump buttons when doing this tech, one button for the first corner boost and one for the second. And as for this next part, well, I'll just let it play out in full. So, what the hell happened here? Well, it pretty much starts off with you doing a wall boost off this tile, followed by a double corner boost. Be sure to hold jump for no more than 1 single frame for this input, otherwise you'll die to the hitboxes up top. Similarly, do a 1-frame tap corner jump off this corner here to narrowly avoid these hitboxes, before holding the down key to start fast falling. This fast fall is required to line up with this tile here to do a corner jump off it, then following that up with another fast fall to make it in between these 2 hitboxes. After this, you'll be able to fall down while just barely scraping the corner of this platform, which gives you 5 frames of mid-air coyote time. Then you do a frame perfect jump in mid-air, then turning around to the left to do a crouched wall boost off this tile towards the right. Then after making this 5 tile overhang gap, turn around and do another climb jump off this tile, which allows you to get to the one singular pixel of safe ground to stand on. I think you can start to see where this map gets its difficulty at this point. While the room cools down past this point, it's still pretty tough. You do another bounce off this heart through these hitboxes and then dash upwards onto this tile here and... What? Dash? Why is Madeline dashing in my Dashless map? Let's just take a look. Oh, it appears that there are some very specific parts of the map where you can actually dash. Cool. Anyway, the room ends on a down dash to collect the crystal heart before being teleported to the next room. This isn't too hard to explain if you're unfamiliar with how it works. Collecting a crystal heart doesn't require dashing right into it, but rather you just need to be in the hitbox of the heart while you dash. This means if you time it right, you can dash away from a heart while still collecting it, but do keep in mind that this is a frame perfect timing and it's also the very last input in the room, making it still an incredibly evil thing to put at the end of the room. And with that, we're done with room 3. This room is regarded by many as being one of the hardest, if not straight up the hardest in this map, at green Grandmaster plus 3 difficulty. Okay, just a quick correction here. A bunch of this video was written before the difficulties got reworked, and this is not green GM plus 3 anymore. This is yellow GM plus 3 being 8-star difficulty. Basically, the higher difficulties got shifted up a bit. Now, Chrome Hearts is 8-star, and Reach for the Stars is 9-star. While Adajio Sosenudo and Yes or whatever still remain at 7-star, so just keep that in mind. With that done, we can move on to the last substantially hard room of the map, that being room 5. While this one is relatively quite short, it starts off with a pretty insane beginning. You first do a short jump to slide off the edge of this platform while still receiving coyote time, then do a mid-air jump to line yourself up with this platform, where you perform a double corner boost. After this, you land on the ground for a brief moment before again doing a coyote jump, followed by turning around and doing a neutral reverse corner boost, or NRCB for short. Pretty much how these work is that if you turn around as you're going past a corner and climb jump, you'll be able to conserve the momentum you had to get a bit of distance in the opposite direction of the wall. However, some of the distance you travel is nullified by the momentum you get from facing towards the wall, so to counter that you can instead turn around towards the wall, then let go of all directions, then climb jump, and then face away from the wall again. It's all very tight and must be done in incredibly quick succession. Following this, you do another double corner boost, taking you over to this block here. From this point, you get to another dash zone where you do a 1-frame dash up through these invisible hitboxes here, then do a grounded wall boost followed by a corner kick off these spikes. What is a grounded wall boost, you ask? Well, pretty much the idea here is that you want to do the corner slip tech we've been seeing throughout the map, where you slip off the corner of a block while retaining your crouching coyote time. However, there simply isn't enough space to jump from the right. What you do instead is grab onto the side of this tile, climb jump up without holding any directions, then moving towards the right, and then quickly switching back left to slip off the corner in a crouched state. A few frames after slipping off the tile, you'll be in the correct positioning to jump up and get a corner kick off the side of these spikes here. After this, it's a few more precise jumps before getting to the very end of the room, which is a completely blind dropper section with 2 3-frame timings. So that's fun. Here's how it looks with hitboxes. As you can see, it's just a pretty tight drop section that is completely in the dark. Each of these right taps must be for 1 frame, and you have a total of 3 frames to time each one. And with that, we are done with this room, and also the map in whole. So that was Chrome Hearts, being 5 rooms in total, with his hardest room reaching green Grandmaster plus 3 difficulty. As of making this video, 6 people have beaten this map in total, so congratulations to them. This is not something I will ever even get close to achieving, so I have nothing but respect for these people. Anyway, onto the next Dashless map, Adajio Sosenudo by Schnippy. First, let's get a general premise for what this map is. Adajio Sosenudo is the first checkpoint of a larger work-in-progress map by the name of Moonlight Center, the official sequel to Satellite Center, another map by Schnippy. This map is named after Adagio Sosenudo, a song by Beethoven, which is also the song used in the map. Alongside that, every room name is in Italian, so I guess there's some pretty interesting theming going on here. Out of the 10 total rooms, the last 3 are often regarded as being the hardest, so those will be the 3 we look at. Oh yeah, and who was excited for more crouch climbing? This map has a couple of those. Starting off, we'll look at Nel Profondo, the 8th room of the map. This room is rated as being yellow Grandmaster plus 2 difficulty according to the mod's Game Banana description. The start of this room has you doing a crouch climb up this wall, before wall boosting away to the left, then quickly turning around to the right to do a crouch climb jump off these spikes. Because you are moving towards the left, these spikes won't hurt you, and as such you'll be able to narrowly slide into this 1-tile gap and hit the spring, collecting this double jump crystal shortly after. Following this, you do a double jump with the crystal here, then turning around to do another crouch climb jump off this tile, then a few more crouch climbs to make it through this 1-tile gap. After making it here, you get a short break before you have to precisely weave in between these spikes and spinners to get down to this touch switch. Collecting the switch moves this block slightly towards the right, where you then drop down and jump off the side of this one-way jump through. Be careful here. Normally you're able to buffer jumps off the side of these jump throughs, but because you need to conserve this double jump for later, you actually cannot buffer the jump here, seeing as that'll make you perform a double jump instead. This means you only have 2 frames to successfully perform this jump. However, once you do make this jump, you can do a double jump up here, move towards the right for a brief moment once you make it up to these spikes to do a corner kick off them towards this wall on the right. This next part requires some pretty precise movement. You need to do a neutral wall jump off this wall, but then immediately climb jump toward the right from this platform to cancel out the arc of the neutral, and then do a second one right after to get to this platform. After this, you do a corner jump over to this platform to then perform a ceiling pop. I guess I should probably explain how these work. Ceiling pops are a really weird and precise tech that basically just involve you climb jumping while beneath a ceiling. You need to first grab onto the very bottom of this ledge, then slide down the wall just a little bit while still holding grab, and there will be a single frame where Madeline is below the wall while still being able to climb jump. Note that this tech is dependent on subpixels, which are very hard to control, and that it's also frame perfect to do. These are just the basics of ceiling pops, and there are other tutorials available on YouTube to watch. However, for now, just think of this tech as being a frame perfect climb jump below a ceiling. Following the ceiling pop, you get to an even more fun tech, which is the spike clip. Now at first, this part looks like it's completely impossible to pass with a row of spikes blocking you from progressing. However, there is a specific type of tech you can use to avoid being killed. Madeline falls at a max of 4 pixels per frame when holding down for fast falling, and the hitbox of spikes are 3 pixels in height. Furthermore, up-facing spikes will only kill you if the bottom of your hitbox collides with them, which means that you can actually fully clip through these spikes without getting hurt with the right positioning. Now, usually doing these is pretty much completely random, however the map has set it up so you'll always be able to hit the spike clip if you start fast falling as soon as you hit the ceiling pop. After the spike clip, it's one more precise crouch climb to get this touch switch, before doing some final jumps to make it onto the next room. That takes us over to room 9, Lamento, being Red Grandmaster plus 2 difficulty. This one is short but really condensed and difficult. The start of this room has you jumping onto the side of this zip mover, along with grabbing this 3 times jump crystal to use later in the room. The zip mover will take you to the right for a bit, where you then need to do a pretty weird tech, which I'm not even fully sure of how it works. You're not able to do a climb jump directly off the zipper, as that will throw you into the spikes that are attached onto the moving zipper, so you instead need to release the grab button for 2 frames, and then perform a climb jump upwards. I'm not really sure how Madeline is able to still climb jump after having let go of grab, so maybe one of you can let me know what's happening here in the comments. After having done this jump, you drop down to grab this touch switch, and then jump off the side of this wall, again without buffering the jump as you still need to conserve your jumps. Then you double jump once, corner jump off this zipper, again without buffering, double jump up once again, then turn around and wall jump right off this wall without buffering to make it onto this zipper. Following this, you jump off the zipper onto this jump through to get the touch switch, drop down and double jump over onto this spring, grab the double jump crystal, and then do another corner jump off the zipper followed by a double jump to make it onto this platform. Now once you've made it to here, you need to do a 2x1 corner kick. Essentially, the idea here is that you want to wall jump off the side of this corner here, which is exactly 2 tiles away from you horizontally, while you are hanging 1 tile below them vertically, hence giving it the name 2x1. You can't just simply jump off towards the right, that'll give you too much height and make you bump your head on the ceiling. You instead need to jump off for exactly 2 frames, which gives you the right height to corner kick off here. And you have to make sure that corner kick is also held for only 2 frames, as you do another 2x1 corner kick right after. After this though, you grab this touch switch, ceiling pop off this ledge again, quarter jump off here into another corner kick to grab this touch switch, and then finally double jump into this gap, which has now been opened by the moving gate, completing room 9 and taking us to the final and hardest room. This takes us onto Codetta, which is quite the insane room. It's actually really impressive how this map managed to make such a hard yet short room, with this room's difficulty being Green Grandmaster plus 3. To start this room off, you do a speed boost to jump off this zip mover into a corner boost, followed by a neutral wall jump around to this wall. After this, you do a pretty interesting move. You climb jump left into the wall and then turn around to face right to grab this double jump crystal. You might think this is a wall boost, however those require you to climb jump without holding any direction. You intentionally want to not wall boost here to minimize the distance you travel going to the right. Following this, you do a double jump in between this gap here onto the spring, then do 2 corner jumps off here into a corner kick to grab this jump crystal. Oh yeah, there's also narration up here, don't mind that. This map has some sort of narrative to it, but I honestly don't know what it is. Hell, it might not even be complete until the release of Moonlight Center in Hull. Going back to the gameplay, you do 2 corner jumps off here while conserving a mid-air jump. After these, you jump onto this falling block, do a ceiling pop off it as it's falling to get this feather, then fly in between this very tight gap before again grabbing a double jump crystal and doing 2 more precise jumps onto here. After some more corner jumps, you get to the water section of this room, as random as that may be. This section involves you activating this zipper so that it pushes you down through this gap, then following that with a 1-frame tap jump with slow fall to make it through this gap onto the zipper. This next section has you doing a lot of tight crouch jumps and such in a row, before grabbing hold of this zipper, which you use to jump off into the final part of this room. But before getting to the final parts, you of course have to sit on the zipper as it slowly and dramatically takes you up. As a side note, I cannot imagine how much nerves you'd have at this point if you were playing this from the start. The finale of this room simply features a crouch climb up through these spikes to get to the red bubble. Also, the very last input here is the move we saw from the start of room 8, where you wall boost away from this wall and turn around to climb jump off these spikes, which allows you to make it up to this bubble, completing the room. And with that, we are done with the 3 hardest rooms. Of course, there are many more rooms here, but I simply don't have the time to cover them here. It's clear a lot of effort was put into making this map look and feel cool to play. Its visuals look nice, the gameplay has some interesting movement, and overall, I'm really excited to see what Moonlight Center will be like once it's finished. With that, we just have one more map to look at, which is Yes Sir Whatever. You can tell this one is going to be awesome from just the name already. Alright, so right off the bat, this map is heavily inspired by Chrome Hearts according to the creator, and so a lot of the gameplay will be similar between the two. Both maps have the invisible hitboxes gimmicks, so once again, a lot of the footage shown will be with hitboxes on. Also, this map is really short, being 3 rooms with each room being only around 10 to 20 or so seconds. To make up for its short length, the gameplay needs to be very hard and condensed, and holy crap, it most certainly is. Just take a look at the start of room 1. Right off the bat, you're presented with doing a crouch jump into a double corner boost, then corner slipping off here to do a coyote jump into this corner kick onto the tile. Now to my knowledge, basically everything here is frame perfect, including the initial crouch jump, the double corner boost, the release timing for the jump, and the coyote jump. If any of these are mistimed, you simply won't be able to get far enough to corner kick off this tile. Once you've made it onto here, you want to do a grounded wall boost off this tile here, a tech we've seen earlier in Chrome Hearts. However, this one is much harder than the one in Chrome Hearts. For one, you can only hold onto the tile for a few frames, as holding on for too long will make you slip down onto the damaging hitbox below. For 2, you have these hitboxes up top, which make the grounded wall boost much harder to perform, as you have to wall boost into this pixel perfect gap. You also need to start moving towards the right the frame after you move left, which makes it even harder. After this, you jump with slow fall, grab onto this tile, slide down off it, drop down into this pixel perfect gap, and then wall boost off this corner with slow fall. Finally, to end this room off, you do a climb jump through these hitboxes here, followed by a corner jump off here, and one final jump to get yourself teleported into room 2. You can probably see that despite being so short, it's still absurdly hard and condensed in difficulty. Most inputs here are frame perfect or close to it, and it's overall an inhuman level of precision that's required to beat this room. Moving on to room 2, this one is also quite short, but still very condensed in difficulty. Right away, your goal is to try to reach this tile here, however you can't simply walk off a coyote jump due to how far away it is from you. Instead, what you'll have to do is first walk up to this point, do a jump upwards, followed by a neutral jump the frame right after, then a neutral climb jump the frame right after. After having done the climb jump, you do a wall boost out of it towards the right to get enough distance to then coyote jump and make it onto here. Once you've made it here, you'll be safe for a bit. You can jump up to stand on this tile before you start the next part. And oh god, this next part is quite terrifying. You first do a crouch jump, then fast forward to slide in between these gaps, Chrome Hearts Room 3 style. Once again, you do a 1-frame crouch jump out of the corner slip, then follow that up with a double corner boost into another corner boost of this block, which puts you into this 1-tile gap. In order to not lose the speed gained from doing the previous corner boosts, you do a crouch jump out of this gap, then another corner boost onto this gap, followed by one final crouch jump with slow fall to make it up to here. Here's how this part looks in full if you're curious. Anyway, once you've made it up to here, you'll get teleported down to the last section of this room. You have to do a move that's quite similar to the start of the room, where your main goal is to make it onto this tile, but doing a regular coyote jump won't clear the distance required. Instead, what you do is grab onto the side of this tile here, then perform a neutral wall jump, immediately followed with a neutral climb jump. After this, you wall boost onto the corner of the tile, then perform a double corner boost to get enough speed to coyote jump and just barely grab onto this tile, which does fall, so be prepared to jump up quite quickly. After this though, it's a few more simple jumps and you'll be done with the room, leaving just room 3 to go through. Now, I'm not too sure which of the 3 rooms are the hardest, however, I can say room 3 is probably the most complex. Right away, you're presented with this monstrosity of a section. You first need to grab onto this tile here to your left, where you wall boost over to the right, then following that up with a jump and double corner boost to go through this gap. If you held the second corner boost for 2 frames exactly, you'll be lined up to do a ceiling pop of this spike tile as you're going past it, taking you over to this tile. After that, you do a couple of jumps up to this point, where you do a crouch jump up to get another frame perfect double corner boost off this tile, then slow fall to make it onto this tile. Following this, you jump up towards the left before turning around to the right to get another ceiling pop off this surface. You can't simply hang onto the wall here, as the spikes will pop up if you hang on for too long, so you have to fall directly onto the bottom of this wall to perform the ceiling pop. Now the only reason you even went down here was to hit this trigger so that this kill box would disappear, which opens up this wall for you to go to. To get there, you'll need to climb jump up into a corner kick of these spikes, and once you've made it onto the top of this wall, you can jump off it and get to the zipper. This zipper is basically the final hard part of the room. You'll want to grab onto the zipper and as it's moving, get a double corner boost off it. This actually results in the speed boost from the zipper being applied twice, as the first boost is applied to the first jump, and a second boost is applied to the second jump. This double corner boost will have to be very precise and also require fast forward to get to this touch switch here, where you then do a corner jump back onto the zipper. After this, you'll be pretty much completely done. You just need to climb jump onto this switch block and jump onto the flower, which completes the map. So there you go. That is all 3 rooms in Yes or Whatever analyzed, and honestly, this map absolutely terrifies me. While a map like Adajio Sosenudo still seems extremely difficult, its difficulty at least feels a little more spread out across the rooms. Meanwhile, this has some of the highest raw mechanical difficulty I've ever seen in this game. However, now with all 3 of these maps out of the way, I can say I hope you all enjoyed the video and maybe learned some new things about the top Celeste maps and the tech they use. I would say go play these maps for yourself. However, I think some people actually value their sanity, so maybe it's better to pass on these just this time.